Welcome to the Explainer. So I want you to just close your eyes for a second and imagine waking up in a world that has suddenly and completely been stripped of modern timekeeping. No alarms beeping on your nightstand, no microwave flashing the hour in neon green, literally no way to know if you're late, early, or right on time. Sounds kind of mysterious, doesn't it? Well, it's a fascinating scenario to explore. Today, we're going to look exactly at how the structures of our daily existence would unravel and maybe even rebuild if we completely lost our ability to measure the hours. Now, think about this for a moment. What if clocks were never invented? It's a grand, mysterious thought experiment. We rarely stop to think about it, but modern life depends completely and utterly on time, right? It dictates when we wake, when we eat, when we work, when we sleep. The ticking hand is basically the invisible force governing modern humanity. But to truly grasp the sheer magnitude of a world without this invention, we first need to understand the tool itself. Section 1. The world without time, before the tick-tock. Okay, let's dive into this. To appreciate the massive impact of losing time, we have to look back at why humans ever felt the pressing need to invent these devices in the very first place. At its most basic level, a clock is just a device invented by humans to measure and display exact time. But here is the crucial part. It replaced our reliance on natural rhythms. You see, clocks aren't natural. They're tools. They're artificial constructs meant to organize our existence and synchronize our actions with incredible precision. They took us out of the natural flow of the universe and put us onto a rigid, mechanical grid. You know, long before mechanical dials and modern atomic precision took over, humans actually did quite well measuring time using natural cues. For ancient people, the day wasn't divided into arbitrary 24-hour chunks. It was tracked simply by the sun's position in the sky. Months weren't numbers on a wall calendar. They were dictated by observing the phases of the moon. And the larger blocks of time, the seasons, were followed strictly for agricultural cycles. They planted, they harvested, and they survived, not by looking at a watch, but by looking at the earth and the sky. Section 2. When daily life breaks down, the chaos of no schedules. If we violently remove modern precision from our lives, the immediate contrast is pretty wild. Our current reality is a hyper-organized routine of morning alarms and exact, down-to-the-minute start times for schools and offices. But without clocks, you're suddenly waking up by the sunrise. Your routines become entirely unpredictable. Imagine trying to coordinate a simple coffee meeting with a friend using only the sun. Hey, let's meet when the sun is roughly halfway up the eastern sky. I mean, it sounds romantic, sure, but in a society built for billions of people, the immediate reality is pure, unadulterated chaos. And that chaos scales up almost instantly. Global transportation and trade completely suffer. Without precise schedules, trains absolutely cannot share tracks safely. Airplanes can't coordinate takeoffs and landings. The intricate dance of global shipping containers just falls apart. Factories that rely on perfectly timed deliveries of materials suddenly grind to a halt because businesses entirely lose coordination. Our modern economy is this machine of perpetual motion, and without exact timing, global trade slows down to an agonizing crawl. Section 3. Technology in the dark. Modern systems crashing. But hey, we aren't just talking about delayed trains or inefficient factories here. The stakes are way higher. And this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying fragility of our digital age. Without exact timing, computers and internet systems drastically slow down. The data packets that stream this very explainer rely on microsecond timing. Satellites in orbit immediately lose critical synchronization, taking down GPS and global communications. Space missions? They become extremely hard, if not entirely impossible, because navigating the cosmos requires calculating time down to fractions of a second. Even basic scientific experiments in laboratories around the world lose all accuracy. The invisible backbone of our technological world literally shatters. Section 4. Returning to nature's rhythm, the silver lining. But what if we look past that immediate collapse? Let's just slow down for a moment. Take a breath. If humanity survives the initial shock, we might find a surprising social transformation. Without the artificial pressure of the ticking clock, humans would be forced to adapt. We'd likely develop alternative routines, waking with the sunrise, guiding our work by daylight and weather rather than a strict 9-to-5 mandate, and resting naturally as darkness falls. It's a completely new, stress-free daily routine. We organize our lives around the sun's position, deeply tying our human experience back to the very planet we live on. As the research highlights, life becomes slower, with less stress from schedules and a whole lot more connection with nature. Imagine a life where you're never late because, well, late is a concept that just doesn't exist anymore. The constant thrumming anxiety of trying to beat the clock vanishes. There's a real peacefulness here. It's a massive social change that recenters human health and natural harmony over relentless productivity.
Section 5. The price of time, weighing the trade-offs. So we've seen the catastrophic breakdown, and we've seen the peaceful, natural return. So the crucial point is weighing these massive extremes. On one hand, we have undeniable advantages: less daily pressure, a peaceful lifestyle, and a beautifully grounded connection to nature. But on the other hand, the disadvantages are staggering: total chaos in global transportation, world-altering technology failures, and major communication breakdowns. It's a massive balancing act between mental peace and the physical marvels of human innovation.
Ultimately, what this thought experiment reveals is profound. Clocks seem simple, right? Just little ticking dials or digital numbers on a screen, but they absolutely changed civilization. They are the invisible architects of our reality. As modern humans, we depend heavily, almost completely, on accurate time to sustain the society we've built over the last few centuries. Which brings us to one final, deeply personal question. Knowing all the absolute chaos it would cause, but also the profound peace it might bring, would you trade the convenience of the modern world for a life completely free of the clock? Just think about how deeply tied you are to your schedule today. It's a fascinating trade-off to consider, and hopefully, this explainer has given you a completely new perspective on the invisible ticking force that shapes your every day.